We are taking charge of every facet of our lives, and this is Take Charge with Sophie. My name is Sophie. In the last episode, we talked about retirement. In this episode, we are going to talk about what retirees should avoid and the positive habits they can adopt in order to enjoy their retirement. The first one to talk about is retirees should not invest in capital-intensive business. So we mentioned earlier that if you go on retirement, your tier 2 gives you a lump sum. That lump sum is money that is very huge. And the temptation is that people will want to start some businesses at retirement because someone is doing that business and it's brought them a lot of money, they've heard and all that. But before you actually put a lot of money into some business, you are expected to do some due diligence, right? And even start piloting that business ahead of time before you retire, so you understand the complexities associated with it. If not, if you take your lump sum and you go pump it into a capital-intensive business that goes bad, if you don't take care, you will actually become a pauper at retirement, even though you have a huge benefit ahead of you. So it is mostly advisable that retirees should not invest in capital-intensive business. And even if you do, to some extent, what percentage of the lump sum are you investing in that business? Knowing very well that businesses come with a lot of risk. Depending on vanity projects and pleasures, people feel like, hey, I haven't had a chunk of money in my hands before. So now that I've gotten a huge lump sum, maybe I want to take a younger wife or something, or I want to take a small side chick and go on vacations with the person because this is a lot of money. If I don't enjoy some myself and I die, someone else will enjoy it. Those are vanity projects. You don't know, people are able to live 25 years after retirement. People die at 90, people die at 80, 75 and all that. So if you look at the lump sum you are holding, ask yourself, if I should live for the next 25 years, if I don't manage this money very well, how much will be left for me? One other thing retirees should avoid is investing in equities. When I say equities, equities are shares invested on the Ghana Stock Exchange. By their nature, they are very risky. You buy a share at a particular price, the price can drop. So if you need your money and you want to sell the shares at a particular time, the price has dropped, that means you're actually going to sell at a loss. You actually pay some commission to the brokers and then the stock exchange for selling through them and all that. So you realize that investing in equities are risky. So apart from even the share price dropping, sometimes you want to sell and you need money immediately. It's very difficult. Sometimes the stock market becomes illiquid. Like last year, the stock market ended on a negative note. So when you have a lot of the market being bearish, people are not selling, activity is very low, and you urgently have some stocks you want to sell. If you are selling, it takes a long time for you to actually get buyers. And if you get buyers, what price are you going to sell that share? The other thing is that as a shareholder, you are expected to have some dividends. But dividend is not a guarantee. If the company makes profits, the directors may decide whether they are plowing back the profits into the company for it to grow or pay out some dividends. And the dividend actually comes in as income for a retiree. But once it is not guaranteed, you should not invest a chunk of your money in equities as a retiree. What are some of the positive habits you should adopt as a retiree? Keep an eye on your blood pressure and your sugar level. Already, at old age, a lot of the organs have deteriorated. So it's very essential for you to invest in a BP monitor, that in the mornings you can monitor your own BP. If you are fully aware that your sugar level is normal based on your regular medical checkups, you still have to keep an eye on your sugar level by making sure that you don't eat things that makes you susceptible to diabetes. And as much as possible, you need to actually limit your intakes of sugars and salts. Salt, we all know that salt actually damages the kidney, and it also causes your blood pressure to go up. You don't want to be spending money on dialysis when you are actually on retirement. And then you have to avoid alcohol. And most of the time when I talk to people about avoiding alcohol, they said, okay, limit the intake of alcohol. So if you cannot avoid it entirely, remember that you are much older than you used to be. So limit your intake of alcohol. And actually have an exercise regime where you wake up in the morning and do something that makes you sweat. Keep mobile, keep walking, and find time to rest. Because a lot of us believe that we are on retirement and we will not be going anywhere during the day, we end up watching movies into midnight or even after midnight. And then in the mornings, we continue after breakfast with the usual routine and all that. It's as much as possible, find time and rest. Even if you are actually doing some consultancies, you still have energy to do other things during retirement. It is very essential that you make time to rest. Even God, that has all the strength and the power, after creating the world for 6 days, on the 7th day, he actually rested. So you, as man with limited strength, you are expected to rest. And then find a social network to hang out with and interact with them. I mean, you can't stay indoors all the time. Find your age group in maybe a retirees association of your company, neighborhood old people's association, your classmates. You know, some of us, when we are working, we forget our classmates. We believe that we are more successful than them, and if we get close to them, they will harm us or they will infect us with their poverty or that kind of thing. I mean, your classmates are your classmates. There's a reason for which your paths actually cross. So, I mean, now, because of WhatsApp, we have regular contact with most of our classmates. So actually be active on their page, laugh over some of the issues that happened when you guys were on campus. If they have funerals, attend. If they have programs, their children are getting married, attend. I mean, it keeps you busy and it actually helps reduce your stress level. Remember, you were fully working and you spent over 8 hours in the office and get home. Maybe traffic takes you 2 hours, you get home after, so that's like about 10 hours from home. And you are going to be home now like 24 hours. I mean, your body will even be tired and all that. So try and find a social network of people, your age mates, your family, going for family meetings here and there. And then something that actually makes you fulfilled. And then consider doing a consultancy. I mean, you've been working in a particular field for so many years and you have retired, meaning that you're an expert in something. So why don't you set up something close to what you were doing so that you can still be using the skills that God has gifted you and something that you have earned so much money on. You can be doing that low-key, and that can keep you busy so that you don't get bored at retirement. And most importantly, you should consider preparing a will. A lot of us have worked so hard and we have built properties, we have some good amounts of money in our accounts, and God has blessed us with maybe a number of children and maybe a spouse. Some of us even have our parents alive and some people that we cherish that have been part of our journey. So are you going to leave your retirement to chance without preparing a will? You need to prepare a will to actually have a way of distributing some of the things that you have labored for so that your wishes will be carried out if you die. So if you want to assign your building to your son, your business to someone, then you do all that in your will. You know, the interesting thing about wills is that you can prepare a will and from time to time keep updating it. You understand? If you don't prepare a will and you die intestate, you create a lot of problems, you leave a lot of problems behind because the once united family that was left, so anytime properties come in, people become very greedy and people begin to actually start fighting. And the interesting thing is that I'm sure you've heard some or you've seen some families with very wonderful siblings and then their parents die and all of a sudden they start fighting among themselves. Some end up losing their lives and all that. Why do you want to actually leave the destiny of your family to chance if God has blessed with you with things that you think that people will be interested in having when you are no more. Try, prepare a will, talk to a lawyer, and then start working on your will. It's one of the things that is essential for retirees to do. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Keep the conversation going by commenting, sharing your experience that you've had during retirement. Any lesson you want to share with our viewers, you can put them in the comment section and then invite other people to watch the channel. The interesting thing is that I always go back to read your comments, and then it informs me on what next I should add to this particular subject if I'm doing a second version of it. Thank you very much. Catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.